What is up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be breaking down Infected or AI in Hunt Showdown, PvE of Hunt Showdown. Quite frequently on my live streams I get asked, especially from new players, to give them some tips on top of the head, and I always tell them map knowledge is the king, and followed by how to efficiently deal with PvE of Hunt, so you can more focus on PvP parts of Hunt. So we're going to dive right into it. First off, the tools that you're gonna use to deal with AI. I can tell you currently it's 2.4 update of Hunt, and Heavy Knife and Dusters is just a meme. Don't even bother with those. Just the way they swing and they reach, it's very awkward, and I would never recommend those. Knuckle Knife probably the best one, because you can deal with Immolators and the blunt damage. You have like blunt and stab combination, and Knife is just like the basic, go-to. However, I quite often, or almost always, use Spear. Spear is like the meta and king, and followed by Penny Shot. Penny Shot is also useful in PvP. You can of course use throwing axes and throwing knives to kind of mix it up. They're also efficient as melee weapons, as throw weapons as well, and the pull-out strat, they deal quite nice damage to the bosses and to AI in general. Of course, this video is aimed towards new players, but even if you're veteran, you might stick around and find out some cool tips and tricks that I'll be sharing throughout these segments. There's going to be timestamps as well, so you can navigate and go towards specific infecteds that interest you, or the boss targets towards the end. We're starting off with Grunts. They have limb damage. If you damage their hands, they're gonna drop the items they're carrying. If you damage feet, they're gonna slow down. They can carry torches with them, and be mindful when you slap them in the arms and they drop the torch on the oil or directly on the barrel. You can use that to your advantages or disadvantages. Just be mindful of it. They also can carry lanterns that can be turned on or off, so depending if they reach you and slap you with them, they can ignite you or just break them. However, you can use those lanterns to burn enemy hunters, or just get creative and deal with other AI more efficiently with their lanterns. We have pistol grunts. They will chase you down and slap you. If they slap you, the gun goes off, giving away your position. No other special techniques how to deal with them. We also have medic grunts or doctor grunts. They're quite useful, especially in PvP scenarios. You can lure them towards you to drop you a medkit in a specific spots you like them to. And we have the miner grunts. The secret with them is just like get them to the legs or chest. If they have a lantern on, it's gonna blow up, drop some oil on the ground. And if they have a torch in hand, that torch will also ignite the oil, and then it's just like a mess if you're on fire. And now, before we move on to the next one tip for the sneaky players out there: if you aim for the head with your silent weapons or throwables, even with a silent killer, the grunts won't make noise. However, if you get into the chest, they'll scream a little bit, giving away your position. So aim for the head if you want to remain sneaky. Off to the next one, we have armors, and they are pretty much self-explanatory as well. They're gonna tank many bullets for you and many punches. They have weak spots, however, on the head and open chest. Shotgun is also very efficient to them if you want to be loud, but the best way is your throwables like axes and throwing knives. Spear one-shots them as well to the chest, and they're gonna go down. You can also damage their legs and kite them around the areas, and concertina armors are just annoying. Try to use environment, sometimes burn them, flare gun, or spear and throwing axe, because throwing knives will take quite few to take them down. Up next are Hives and Bees, and we're gonna talk about Bees first, because they also come in the PvP in the Hive Bomb variant. So if you're swarmed by the bees, you don't want to stab them or slice them even. That's not that efficient. It's kind of like real life if you're trying to stab a bunch of bees. But if you have something to swipe around, like Talon, Trauma, Hammer, anything that's like swiping around is gonna deal with them quite efficiently, even punches. Now, talking about the Hive, she's pretty squishy if you get her to the ribcage or that head that's hanging out on the side, so that's kind of tricky to land, but once you get the hang of it after the first couple of times, it's gonna be easy. Bees also and Hive have that like different screams when they aggro and de-aggro from you, so you can use that to your advantages. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it, so just focus on that. You can also burn down the bee swarm with your flare gun or the environmental fire like the lanterns. And yeah, all around just deal with the hive, with the source of the problem, and you have nothing to worry about. Also, another worth thing mentioning, antidote shot completely denies that poison. You can heal through because you can never be poisoned for the duration of it. So if you're really struggling with the hives, you can run the antidote shot or Meatheads that will limit the poison time duration only to like 3 seconds, which is nothing. Next up are Immolators, and I don't have too much to tell about them, except that if you stab them, they're gonna burn off 25 health off of you, so if you play small bars, that one is gone. Use blunt damage against them, that's why knuckle knives are good, buttstocks of your weapons, or penny shot. Penny shot will one-tap them, won't blow them up, and that's why it's also the meta, as I mentioned at the start of the video. You can also use elevations to, like, climb higher up. They can't really like navigate, jump or anything, so regain your stamina while being on the high ground from them. And choke bomb, as soon as they touch it, they're gonna shut down and extinguish. Now it's time for Hellhounds, and similar to the Immolator, you can use high ground to kinda evade them. They're gonna be more jumpy, but it's gonna help you to regain stamina, because stamina is very much necessary to deal with them. And best tip I can give you for them is to kinda rush into them and deal with them quickly. Because if you let them jump around you and start biting you, dodging your attacks, that's when it gets tricky with them. So just like try to chase them, like you're attacking them, don't let them attack you type of mentality. The ones with helmet, you can use FMJ ammo to kind of wallbang that helmet. Of course, the head is their weak spot, so you always want to aim for it. And you can even shoot them kind of in their nose there. When it comes to limbs damage, they can receive the limb damage, but it doesn't slow them down. Sometimes it seems like it doesn't even do any damage to them. So like I'll stab them in the back and their legs are gonna be visibly damaged, but they don't really take any damage. So yeah, I would just go for the headshots on them, one light tap to just get them off of you, and then just another stab to deal with them. Another tip, because I mentioned the stamina is very important. If you're using throwing weapons as your melee tool, keep in mind that throwing them is gonna consume your stamina, but it's not gonna affect how hard you throw them. Even if you're completely out of stamina, you will still hard throw for the maximum amount of damage, but you will attack slower if you're meleeing. When it comes to Waterdevils, they're the tricky ones. You can deal with them with your throwing axes or throwing knives, then retrieve them from the water. You can also shotgun blast them efficiently, or just shoot them through, because they're gonna be loud and make noise anyways. But spear one-taps them, and it's probably the most efficient way to deal with them and then take it. Sometimes they'll be gone for like up to 30 seconds or even more, and sometimes just a new one takes its place and spawns and attacks you. They also share not the same pools of water. You can sometimes be in one pool of water, but the other ones won't tag on you. Another tip is, if the Rotjaw is in the area, which is a wild target we're going to talk about later, Waterdevils won't be bothering you there, so they won't spawn around. Quite frequently they spawn on the extraction points, and all depends on your situation. If you're in a PvP fight, you wanna like jump the boat, stay off the water and keep your head low. Sometimes if there's really no other choice, you wanna quickly deal with them, because they'll burst down your health in no time and you won't have a chance to react. Some people see Meatheads as free money and XP and a free trade here and there, and for some they're just annoying because they're camping the clues usually. The way to take the clue from them easily is just to kill one leech, and it's gonna make them swing forward wherever they're facing and away. That gives you opportunity to take the clue for free and just move on. However, if you don't deal with leeches, they're gonna navigate towards you, poison you, scream, and that's gonna aggro Meathead towards you. Easy way to deal with Meathead is, if they're walking towards the battle, do the trick with the leech, make him run into that battle and blow him up. The explosives and dynamite sticks, even the smallest one, will take them down and provide you a free trait, in this case Shadow Leap. And now it's actually perfect that you dropped Shadow Leap. It lets me tell you the next tip that I have for you, which is the Shadow Leap tip. If you're looking to leap and you're unsure if it's safe, you're looking for this pulse on it. If it's pulsating, that means it's unsafe, it's Immolator or Concertina armored. However, even if it's not pulsating, doesn't exclude that it can be a Grunt with a torch next to a red battle or yellow battle, and if it drops those torches when you leap to it, it can burn off your battle, just straight up kill you and your teammates if they happen to be nearby, so leap at your own risk. And when it comes to meatheads, you can of course poison enemy hunters if you're using poison ammo, that is if they're not running antidote, so it's ton of things needs to align for this to work, but you can use it to your advantage by poisoning someone and aggroing meathead on them aggressively. The reason why he's freaking out there is either that his leech stepped in the fire and he freaked out, or somebody next compound around here got poisoned. I think it's a bug right now with the poison, but it's a good info to know. If you hear Meathead freaking out like that, it could be that somebody else got poisoned quite far away as well, but he reacted to it. Brute is one of the latest that got added to the roster, and it's very similar to Meathead, but quite the opposite. Explosions won't do much, it's just gonna bounce back and charge you. It has multiple attacks like that scream that deafens you, the charge that it just attempted there on me. And it's similar to how Meathead will track you if you're poisoned, Brute will track you if you're bleeding. And it's also gonna cause bleeds when it gets you and pounces you. However, the weak spot is its chest or gut. Go for that one if you have a shotgun, quite easy. Spear, penny shots will take him down. And it's also gonna drop the trait, be it like normal traits or burn and scarce traits. And also don't shy away to shoot Brute, because it's gonna be a loud fight anyways, and if it deafens you, gives you that tinnitus, you won't have a chance to hear anybody. There's really no whispers around like fighting the Wildtarget, so you're on your own, you wanna be quick and efficient dealing with it. That guy down there is searching. Someone's been around. That armored as well is screaming. Oh, behind us I hear steps. Yeah, you can bait them down there, I'll chill here. And with that, we're kind of halfway through the video. If you're still around and you're not subbed, make sure to do so and leave a like on the video. It will help out a lot. And once more, if you're a new player, I just want you guys to understand AI in this game is really not a big problem unless you let them overwhelm you. So that's why I'm making these videos on top of some cool tips and tricks. So yeah, AI's purpose in this game, they're very simple, very basic, definitely confusing at start. And their main purpose is kind of to just give away your position and spice up the PvP. So now I hope after this video you'll be able to focus on that PvP part even more. First Wildtarget added to Showdown is Rotjaw, and the way you track down alligator is interacting with these clues or traces that make this bubbly sound, and then they will point towards her direction. Once you're in her proximity, you will see her in this blue light. Also, the whisper on top left will toggle white or red if the enemies are nearby. The area or radius of the enemies is quite big, so keep that in mind. If it's red, doesn't mean they're right next to you. They can be in quite large area. Now, how to deal with Rotjaw? The best way is probably going to the supply points. They always have an axe or the hammer nearby, unless it's a boat one. Or if you're rocking the meta, which are the spear and penny shots, those will take care of her easily when she goes for the pounce. Now, her attacks are different. If the bubbles are following you, means she's going in for a bite, you want to just move to the side, kind of strafe, and then go for a swing. But first phase, she's got this device on the back that's draining your stamina, so you gotta move around a little bit, regain your stamina, try not sprinting. If the bubbles are in place, means she's going for this pounce, and that one, if it gets you, gonna drain 100 health from you. You just wanna strafe in the side again, quite simple, rinse and repeat there. I'm being kinda impatient here, so I'm missing easy swings. I'm kinda risking it with 100 health, but she's going for that bite, so I'm just strafing to the side, getting one swing in, and I'm gonna hit up this supply just to get my health to maximum while she's doing that scream, getting the devices off. And this black goo on the ground, you kind of want to stay away from it because it's gonna take your stamina down and damage you as well, slow you down, so you're quite easy target if she's going for that big pounce. And of course keep on checking whispers, because people will hear this scream when she's halfway health done. It's perfect also to just back out, wait for the black goo to despawn. Otherwise, she can sometimes spawn on top of you, going for that charge attack while you're being slowed and without stamina because you're standing in the goo. Yeah, just best is to go out of the water, heal up, reset the fight here, and then just rinse and repeat. Go again, dodge those attacks, dodge the bites, and you're done with Rotjaw pretty much. Also, she drops the free burn or scarce traits and a bounty token. Our second wild target is the Hellborn, and also like Rotjaw, it only spawns if it's a single boss on the map and no other tokens spawning in. The way you find the Hellborn is through Darksight, and you're listening for these screams. Now, the loudness of the scream doesn't necessarily tell you how close or far the Hellborn is, just the general direction where they at. And if you play the map enough, you'll kind of start to figure out the certain spots where Hellborn can be. Now, the tips for Hellborn, best you can do is start it with a dynamite, not the frag, because frag has sharp nails, dynamite is an explosion. That will take a good chunk of health. And for the rest of the fight, you just want a line of sight Hellborn for his explosion attack that he's trying to do over here. Just go line of sight so you don't burn. It's also no big deal if you burn, because once you kill Hellborn, a restoration is triggered, you're getting your bars back. And the other attack is Hellborn is just gonna be throwing fireballs your way that I'll showcase in the next fight. Because this is basically the meta fight, and that's what I'm saying is spear and penny shot is the way. You can of course go to the supply wagons, take the hammer or bring the axe with you, and then you just do the same like I did there. You dodge them fireballs, try to close in the gap with the Hellborn. It's gonna be evasive. You, as the previous one, initiate with the dynamite if you have one. If you don't have dynamite, they spawn around the map as well, so you can look around, get some toolboxes going, or simply bring yours dynamite if your goal is in that match to hunt for the Hellborn. Also, do not shy away from just blasting the Hellborn. It's a very loud fight. You can just shotgun blast, shoot him with your guns. The more the better. If you have teammates as well, you just coordinate the attacks. But if you're solo, you're gonna be extra careful, especially if it turns Red Whisper and you're already missing some bars. You really need to rush that restoration. So it's a really tricky boss to do, or better said, very high risk for a very low reward for a solo player. Now we're on the last segment of this video. We're talking about bosses, and now I'm not gonna talk here about the sticky bomb, nitro, bomb lance or just stamina, guacamole strats, but I'll actually show you some of the more optimal ways to deal with the bosses without having to adapt your loadout simply for the boss fight. You can focus your loadout more on the PvP or whatever else you like to run, and deal with the bosses with whatever you find in the world, because it's very simple. You don't really need to overthink it. And we're starting off with the Butcher. Here's your classic, just brute before the brute existed. You go in, you deal quarter of the health, and then just go out and reset. You can also attempt to spin around the Butcher if you are juiced on stamina, but that would require either stamina shots or conduit, so situational there. Best weapons to deal with Butcher is either axe, because he's weak to rending damage, or the light attacks from the shovel, quite handy. Hammer will also burst down the health, or if you have trauma or talon weapons, they're quite handy on the Butcher. On top of it, the meta that I mentioned, the spear and penny shot, but I'm not gonna be making either spear or penny shot guide if I can avoid those. So we have these attacks. You attack him twice, he's gonna get enraged. If he happens to slap you, he will just move on, run away. Then he comes back. So that moment where he moves on gives you a chance to reset if you didn't. If you try to cheese Butcher and go like on some high grounds, like with some other AI, he will throw firebomb your way and make you kind of move away or reposition. You see him here coming up to me, hitting me and just running away, moving away, giving me a perfect chance if I wanted to go out and just reset my healths. But I choose to play it more risky just to showcase you how he plays around. And also the firebomb that he throws it here on the ground, but I'll try to make him actually throw one so you guys can see if I climb up the spot indoors. And of course, like with the other bosses, check the whispers, make sure nobody's sneaking up on you. Next up is Spider, and although I said it's not gonna be about sticky, bomb lances, nitros, or any dynamite cheese, Good to know that she's always gonna come up to you and do this scream if you're the first one to enter from your team in her lair. So that gives you an opportunity or like an opening to engage her. She also has different attacks. She's got the poison speed, she's got the pounce from the wall that will take 50 off your health. You can of course take some distance and like line of sight the pounce, move away from the poison. Antidote shot is also perfect against her, but really nothing more in depth when it comes to the spider. All you want to do is do quarter of her health, then go away, reset, come back, another quarter of the health. Something to note, while you're poisoned you cannot heal, so you have to wait for the poison to wear off. It's something that I could have mentioned during the hive part as well, but better late than never. Also, if you're looking for a weapon, supply points are your perfect way to search for the weapons to deal with the bosses or any sort, except Scrapbeak, because for him you need pitchforks, but more about Scrapbeak later in the video. So you pretty much have this poison speed attack that you want to move away from. You enrage her on the quarter of the health and go out and reset, dodge the pounces and listen for the opponents or check the whispers occasionally. And that's the spider in a nutshell. Oh, I almost forgot this one more thing with the spider. When you kill her, she can go to the next compound and freaking die there, giving your opponents the banish. Well, not quite the next compound, but the other end of the layer. So be mindful if the other hunters are there, the enemy hunters. She can go and die in front of them and they can take a free banish. It's just overly dramatic when dying. Stealer. The spear stealer. Oh yeah, Berserker, I see. I'm making guides here on the bosses, but what are you doing to the boss? Like, give me some tips. Now the most unreliable one of the 4 bosses we have is the Assassin. He's quite similar to the Spider when it comes to the start here. He will come here and greet you, so if you have some dynamites you want to shoot with your shotgun on the ground on his feet, sacrificing yourself and getting revived, be my guest. But the optimal strat is of course going to the supply, getting that melee weapon and then smacking him. Every quarter of his health he goes into these clones and they will slap the bugs on you. Now if you have bugs on your face you can try to outrun him. He will chase you until he attempts the stab. If he gets the stab, that's it. He just resets, he goes back to his normal loop, sometimes chilling on the walls and throwing dagger your way, or just chasing you down to stab you like he did there. If he doesn't get a stab on you, he's just gonna do the clone thingy 3 more times until you just kill all the clones or kill him. Now if you're playing with a team and even one of you have the bugs on the face, he won't be staggered. He will go for the swing and the stab no matter what. But here's an example. If you are destroying his clones, he will keep on spawning them 3 more times. Here we got the bugs on our face, so he will charge for the stab. So I guess all depends, it's situational. If you feel safe, if you know nobody is around, you can just let him stab you so you don't have to chase the clones around the layer and destroy them 3 times. Just speeds up the process, especially if you have regen shot running or you have medkits nearby. Or you can attempt to outrun him if you have enough space to move around, because he kinda bends the walls and gets you through the gaps and the corners. And here I finally got him to do the wall attack. You can just strafe to the sides and dodge his knife. And he's also vulnerable when he's on the wall, so you can rush up and melee him. And that is pretty much the Assassin. I said the most unreliable one because sometimes he can just go around never aggroing, go on the wall non-stop, bothering you from the wall. And I don't know, I kind of like and hate that mechanic because some bosses get very boring and repetitive, but Assassin, because he's just wonky as he is, he's very unpredictable and annoying to fight, but still interesting in a way. Another strat you may try against Assassin if you're feeling brave, you can try the Marshmallow strat, which is kind of setting yourself up on fire, then taking a step in, destroying his clones instantly, step back to kind of reset the hit marker, and again inside. Even here I failed it because I haven't done it in a long while. It's not the most optimal, but sure it's fun to just set yourself up on fire and go around like a human torch. Now I saved the best for the last, and I say that because I really love how unique the Scrappy fight is compared to the other bosses. The only similarity I see is that each quarter of the health you don't really want to attack him, you want to wait for that enrage phase to be done. He will scream again once he's done, and if he happens to burn or get some explosive damage, they'll toggle his enrage. The loot that he drops on the ground won't be usable, it's gonna be burned out or damaged by the explosives and useless. Now, if you hear a ton of crows in the distance, it probably means that somebody is fighting Scrapbeak, because on each entry of the lair there is a bonus set of crows. People can of course use fire to kill the crows, but nobody really bothers with that, so it's a good indicator to start engaging this team that is engaging Scrapbeak, or enemies will engage you if they hear the crows. Now, cool mechanics that make Scrapbeak stand out compared to the other bosses is that he wears ton of scrap on him. He's very slow at first, each quarter he drops them on the ground and he becomes faster. That scrap also gives him armor against like hammer, axes. All the other stuffs that I told you are good against other bosses are not really ideal against Scrapbeak, so that's why checking out the supply wagons for the hammers and axes is not the way, but learning the spots where the pitchforks spawn on the map, or just if you happen to find one in the next compound, is very good against him. Spear as well is a piercing damage, or anything that just goes through his armor will deal chunk of health. And that's not even all. I got even more to tell you about Scrapbeak while we're watching this perfect fight ahead with him, kind of showcasing you how to deal with his attacks. It's pretty much stab and go to the side behind him, stab again, don't get slapped back. The reason he's got all that loot on him is because he hoarded everything in the large radius around his compound. So there's no ammo boxes, no medkits around, everything is on his back, so you don't want to let it really burn out. Want to be mindful with that. However, the persistent pitchfork spawns are still in his compound and he still won't take them, so you can use that knowledge and advantage to yourself. There's more pitchfork world spawns around the Lawson Station, Windy Run, and Stillwater, for example. If there's more, you feel free to tell me, share the knowledge with everybody, but these are the ones that I know on top of the head. It's just worth paying attention to them, because even if Scrapbeak is in the compound there, or Scrapbeak is maybe next compound, you can just quickly run and grab a pitchfork there for a quick and easy banish. Let's go back to the fight mechanics before I move on to the last and juiciest tip. As I mentioned earlier, you go for 2 stabs, move away from his 180, and then a final stab to push him into enrage mode, and then repeat to finish. It's also no big deal if he manages to swing you and damages you. You will use his meds or your own to just reset and heal up. And sometimes you can even go with 100 health, because he can't really burst you down quickly. He can also drop the cool scarce and burn traits, among other goodies. And now the final tip that I named Candy Shop. It goes way back to 2021 when I uploaded my All Bosses guide back then. Damn, I've been doing this a lot and I'm old now. Anyways, remember how I said he hoards everything in the proximity in his compound, but everything that's outside of his reach, a little further, is kinda forced loot now, so that's gonna be very rich. You're gonna find traits, envelopes, cash registers, everything that is just outside of the Scrapbeak's reach, so always worth checking within the borders of his compound. And with that one, we're gonna wrap up the video. I really hope you got to learn something. You also enjoyed the video. I try my best to make it watchable and not like hours long. And I also didn't want to skip some stuffs. Of course, if I managed to skip something, feel free to tell me down in the comments, share the knowledge with us. And all around, enjoy your day. I hope to see you on the streams and here on the channel soon more. Take care and have a great one.